All right, so today is December 1st and the entire Northeast is in a little bit of a cold spell. It's like 15 degrees Fahrenheit today, and I thought this could be the perfect day to develop our next spring right here. So about a year ago, I put a stake in the ground right here where I thought a good spring location could be. It's directly next to the very first spring I ever developed, and I've been watching the way water flows from the ground here during all of the different seasons, including the drought we just had, and it looks like this could be a very, very promising spot for a spring. So before we get started digging, I just want to show you exactly what a spring looks like in case you're searching for one. You can see right here, I dug out a tiny bit just with one of my boots, and we have water flowing. We have dry snow over here, and we potentially have water flowing up there. But if you look up here, it's all nice dry snow. So there's no water way up there. The water is coming from underground here, and it's melting the snow. Typically, yeah, it's not even that cold. It's like maybe 40 degrees, this spring water. It's hard to tell, but you can see that it's coming from somewhere under there, and we'll just dig that direction and see what happens. So the first step in the process, which is actually my favorite step, is to just dig out the water with a pickaxe and see if we can find where exactly it's coming from. The reason I didn't develop this spring earlier is because it's directly under a tree, which is a terrible place to develop a spring because digging through all of the roots is really, really annoying. But this water was flowing pretty well during a drought, so I think it's worth all of the extra effort that this project might take. I've also decided that this spring location is going to be the location I use for our house build because this seems to be the highest source of spring water on the mountain. It's not necessarily the most flow, but it's the highest elevation, highest flow combination. I've also been debating for a little while whether or not I have the technical skill to get the excavator we now own up here. And I think I'm going to hold off for now because it's a really, really challenging place to get a machine like that. It's a pretty steep slope, and there's a ton of trees I would have to cut down just to get the machine in here. So we're going to see if we can do this all by hand. Oh no. Ah! Broke my pickaxe. So this feels like the perfect time to mention that this week's video is sponsored by AG1. We actually started drinking AG1 about 2 years ago, but they sent us a new welcome kit recently, which I'm super excited about because now me and Dana can each have our own canisters. And since she's not here right now, I'm claiming the new one. Typically, I try and drink AG1 first thing in the morning to delay my first cup of coffee by an hour. Or I also really like it with some fresh squeezed lemon juice and an ice cube as an afternoon work treat. Now that we have a little toddler, I like knowing that I'm giving my immune system all of the nutrients it needs to cope with whatever is coming its way. And for these long cold days outside in the winter, it's nice to fuel my body with something other than coffee because digging through tree roots with a pickaxe is a full body workout. The manual labor that goes into setting up a homestead is no joke, so drinking AG1 feels like a good way to replenish my body and make these big build days possible long term. If you'd like to try it for yourself, use the link in the description or this QR code and save $20 off your first subscription of AG1. So this is as far as I'm going to take this one for now. But if you come take a look right here, the water is flowing from in between these two rocks, which is a great scenario. And I think if you chipped away at it, you could unlock a little bit more water from there. Looks like maybe half a gallon a minute, but Honestly, that doesn't really matter. What matters is that water was flowing from the ground in this exact spot during the peak of the drought when the springs up there were fully dried out. So that's good water. We have one more spot over here now that I'd like to dig out today, which is directly next to the very first spring I developed. And this water was also flowing during the drought. So let's see what's going on there. So one of the reasons I like to dig a channel with my boot is because it's super satisfying, but also you can come back in a couple days and check if the area you're digging is all of the water or if there's water flowing in different places. So when I originally developed this spring, I had a feeling I was missing a little bit of water, and I definitely did. Look at this. There you go. Yeah, Max. Did you do it together?
Yeah.
Look, Max, a salamander.
Ooh.
See?
I'm not falling.
We are at the spring site, the original spring site, and Max and I just came up to see what was going on, enjoy the land. It's gorgeous out today, really cold, but the sun is shining, which makes it so fun. And Max is covered in mud so quickly, and yeah, it's really wild to be up here amongst so much snow, so much freezing, and then you like see water just running out of the earth and the grass is green, and it's just like, I don't know, it feels like such a special, spring development, such a special thing because it's so different than everything else. It's just alive all the time, running and flowing, and it's so cool to learn more about our land and the concept of these wet weather springs and which ones are gonna keep running, which ones would be able to sustain our water needs in our house.
All right, today is day 2 on our winter spring development project. I couldn't sleep last night because I'm just debating whether or not to bring the excavator in here and dig out this whole hillside. I feel like this has enough water right here for our entire homestead and farming operation, but digging through these tree roots by hand is just really, really hard work. I can't tell if it's more work than trying to build a road through the forest, but I'm gonna procrastinate for a couple days and just really think about that decision because it's a big one. I decided to harvest one of the spring catchment systems from the spring up the hill that wasn't working that well, and this way we can measure the flow rate on one of the new springs. And I think I'm just gonna wait a couple weeks, watch how the water flows, and see whether or not this is a project I'm gonna take on by hand or with our new excavator. So the beauty of getting this system installed, even just temporarily with some clay, is you get a good sense for the flow rate, but you also see over here, there's some water coming from the side, which means that either it's escaping around the side of the dam, which could be possible, or there's more water over there. There's also a little bit of surface water over here. So I think this whole hillside is one big spring, and it's not coming from a single place. It comes from there, from there, from there, and you could dig out this entire thing and potentially get significantly more water. So I just measured the new spring, and it seems to be getting between 1 and 2 gallons per minute, maybe 1.5 gallons per minute, which is actually pretty significant because this water was flowing during the drought. So it's a huge addition to our current spring network. I haven't measured cumulatively how much water we have flowing right now, but I think if we added the 2 little springs I just developed together, those alone would get us to 3 gallons a minute. And then we have 2 other springs that are flowing pretty well. So we're actually getting close, I think, to 10 gallons a minute, which is my goal. I want 10 gallons a minute during a drought, which over the course of a full day is a ton of water, and I think more than enough to make this ram pump system work. So yeah, for all of you who have been following along on these spring videos, I have a little surprise I want to show you. I actually already started the next step. So during the peak of the drought, when the top 3 springs had completely dried out, I wanted to see for myself what was going on up here. There's actually a logging road through the forest that leads exactly to these 3 springs. And the bulldozer operator I talked to, who had a lot of experience with spring development, he told me that he thought these were wet weather springs, which means that during the peak of the drought, there was 0 water in them. And it was honestly kind of hard to believe because there was so much water before. So I came in with the excavator and I just dug it out completely. This is already rock right here, solid rock. So the water was flowing down this hillside until it hit the rock. And then it was flowing above the rock. And it must have just been entering the earth up there somewhere. So there was no water in this hole 2 weeks ago. And now look, you can see exactly where it's flowing, where I originally developed that spring. Water from under there and through there, and so much of it. Yeah, it's one of those things you kind of have to see it with your own eyes to believe it, because when I first developed these springs, I thought they were the most incredible thing ever. It was literally one of the best weeks of the entire summer. And then they dried up and it was just a little confusing. And now I think I'm starting to understand exactly what a wet weather spring is. Because if you dug in some other places around here, you would not hit water. But there's a lot of water right there. And 2 weeks ago, there was none. So very, very interesting the way this all works. Yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. And if you have any advice, comments, suggestions, I would love to hear them. I feel like the spring project has become my absolute favorite thing on this land so far. And it's really fun hearing all of your ideas. Someone suggested a really great system on our last video for transporting the water with a pump. And if the ram pump doesn't work, I'm definitely copying that cistern system. So thank you for that.